Hi. I just wanted to do a little video just to talk about polycystic ovarian syndrome. It's something I talk a lot about on my Instagram pages, and recently I've been doing a little experiment. So anybody that knows anything about polycystic ovaries, you'll know that one of the symptoms, there are many, but one of them is facial hair. Now, I suffer quite a bit with it, and I have done over the years. I've tried numerous things. I've tried IMAC, I've tried waxing, I've been to Harley Street and had a year's course of hair removal treatment. I've done epilating, currently I'm plucking, that's what I do, and I'm kind of doing that every couple of days at the moment. And then I've recently brought, I don't know if anyone's seen one, but I've recently brought a Hollywood browser, and that seems to be working really, really well for me at the moment. I mean, I do still need to use it sort of every other day, but that's just my hair growth, that's the way it is. It does leave my skin really nice and smooth though, which is lovely. So the little experiment that I've been doing on on Instagram, is I've been trying out different foundations, because if anybody like myself does suffer with facial hair and you also wear makeup, one of the issues I find is that when I apply foundation to my face, whether it be after I've waxed or when I had the laser hair removal done, or if you're using an epilator or IMAC, something like that, you tend to get your skin, obviously it takes, most things like waxing that will take a layer of skin off of your skin, and what happens then is when you apply your foundation, it doesn't sit the same in all of areas. So where you've plucked, waxed or used IMAC, it either won't sit on the skin or it sits in a completely different tone, so you can really see the difference, and you have like a really noticeable sort of like white stripe, or whatever colour it may turn it, you get very noticeable difference. And it's something that I've struggled with for years and years and years, and it's just so annoying because I look at other people and I think, oh my god, their foundation looks flawless, it looks lovely. I'm a makeup artist, I work on people all the time, and they have beautiful skin. They don't have any of these problems where you don't have the product sitting on the skin the same as it does everywhere else because you've been using hair removal products. So I've been doing a little experiment, and I think I'm 8 foundations in, and it's been quite an eye-opener actually in terms of the coverage of certain foundations that I use. I'm being recommended other ones, so I will be getting those and trying those as well. So if you are interested, check out my Instagram page and have a little look. But I will be doing another video on here over the weekend where I will talk about the products that I've used so far, and then I'll carry on with it next week, because I do try to, if I'm not doing anything at the weekends, I do try to give my face a break. So in terms of a break, what I do is I won't probably use the Hollywood browser, I won't pluck my face, and I don't tend to put on any foundation, because I just try to give it like time to breathe, and just use some sort of remedies to kind of help my skin rather than applying foundation to it or any makeup. So I will carry on with my little experiment from Monday. But I just wanted to talk a little bit about polycystic ovaries, because I'm not entirely sure we talk about it enough. Well, I mean, I certainly don't hear people talking about it enough. And considering, I think the statistics are it affects something like 1 in, I think it's either 3 or 5 women. It's quite common, but I don't really hear a lot of people talking about it a lot of the time. I tend to bang on about it a lot, purely because I suppose for so many years I covered up the hair issue as best I could, until it got to a point where I just couldn't do it anymore. My face was becoming really sore, I was getting spots, I was getting breakouts all the time, and I just couldn't hide it anymore. So I thought, do you know what, rather than hiding it all the time, just embrace it. So I tell people, I have a really bad case of facial hair. Some people say, oh, it's not that bad. I deem it as bad. Now, everybody else might look at it and say it's not that bad, and that's great, but it is a personal preference. You could have somebody that has a small area here and they're devastated by it. You could have somebody that gets the one hair, a lot of women do tell me this, they get the one hair that sticks out the chin, devastation. Mine is, in comparisons to that, is a lot. I get hair all the way down my sideburns, all the way across here, all the way down, the tash, and then underneath here as well. So I class it as quite a bad case. There are people out there that do have a lot more hair growth than I do. I do get that. But I do honestly think it's a personal preference. So, if you get that one hair, you've got that one patch, you've got a full-on beard like myself, don't worry, and don't let anybody tell you, oh, don't worry about it, you're overreacting. It's a personal preference, okay? So it's how it makes you feel as a person, nobody else. That's one thing I've definitely learned. I've learned to cope with it. I know it's something I'm never gonna completely eradicate and get rid of, because it's a hormonal imbalance. I did go to Harley Street, like I said, and I had a year-long course of laser hair removal, which was fantastic. It worked for about a year. When I say it worked, it slowed down the growth. It didn't take it away, it slowed it down. Now, I was getting married the following year, so I was very paranoid about my pictures. I was going on holiday for 3 weeks. I wanted it to look, I want to look back at my wedding pictures and think, oh my God, yeah, it looked nice. And I'm pleased to say that did work. They were very honest with me at Harley Street, and, because you've got to fill out all these forms. They were very, very honest and said, they can't guarantee that this is going to take it away forever, and it just can't do that. So because it's a hormone imbalance, things, your hormones are within you, they're part of you. So they were very honest, but I still went ahead with the treatment. One, because I wanted to see what it would do, and two, obviously, like I said, I was getting married, so I wanted it to kind of help, and it did help. It really did help. But yeah, so I've learned to manage it over the years, and with so many different techniques, and that's probably what brought me to falling in love more with more makeup, looking at some of the high-end stuff versus the low-end stuff, because it's not cheap. Some makeup is really, really expensive, and one of the products I'm using at the moment is Revolution Pro. I'm finding it fantastic in Superdrugs, very, very affordable. So if you are stuck and you want to experiment with different shades, this makes it affordable, so give them a go. But there are so many other things to polycystic ovaries as well. Some people, when I tell people I've got polycystic ovaries, also, it's kind of a bit hard for you to get pregnant. Well, it's not just that, there is a complete infertility issue with it. I found out I had polycystic ovaries when I was 21, and that was following years of irregular periods, weight gain, weight loss, quite severe. I think just before I found out I had polycystic ovaries, so probably when I was about 19, I went on holiday in the September, and I was just over 9 stone, and by the end of October I was under 7 stone, and I had no idea what was going on with me at all. I had no idea what was happening. I've got a really good appetite. Most people do like my food. I just had no idea what was going on, and now I know that is one of the side effects. Also, gaining weight is also an issue as well. I don't use it as an excuse. Like I say, I've got a really good appetite. I do like my food. I don't use it as an excuse, but it is something that you can feel in yourself, because it's where you hold the weight. It's not all over, it's definitely in the tummy area, around the hips. And you just feel bloated a lot of the time. So infertility is one of them. So at 21, I was kind of told that there was a strong possibility that I would never be able to conceive children, because my body just wasn't functioning right. So I had the polycystic ovaries, had to have all these tests done, and they measured my hormones over the course of a month. They'd given me some tablets to make me ovulate, which I did. So I thought, yay, fantastic, brilliant. When I went back to the doctors, they'd got out this little chart to show me, where you kind of throughout the month, when you're sort of like your cycle's coming, when you're on your cycle, and when you're coming off. And this is how it should look, something like that. But mine just went straight across the bottom, which I thought was a little bit strange, because I had a cycle that month. So what the doctor said to me was, it's very strange, because he wasn't expecting me to have come back and said I'd had a cycle, because the results showed that my body doesn't ovulate at all. It doesn't do what it's supposed to do. So that was a bit of a kind of where are we at type thing. So yeah, so that was when I was 21, and they told me that I've got a lot of, you've got your eggs that you're born with, as we all know as women, but a lot of my eggs were empty. So at 21, that wasn't great news really, and that wasn't really what you want to hear. But like I say, I was 21. I just thought, what will be will be. There's nothing that I can physically change about myself at the moment. There's so many, back then, I'm nearly 40 now, so back then you didn't have a lot of these like fad diets and stuff that they've got now, or they're now aware that certain foods can help and stuff like that. I did try a lot of things like cutting out dairy. They recommend that you cut out dairy as best you can because it's obviously got forms of hormones in it. But I got that news and I just thought, we'll just get on with it and see what happens. And I know I was okay. I think I was okay. And then I got to probably about 24, and I just thought to myself, I'd convinced myself I would never have children. It just wasn't meant to be, and that was life. That was how life was going to be. But what I'd actually done was put up a guard that was how I felt, when I knew in my heart that wasn't how I felt. But I carried that around for probably quite a few years actually, and I just kind of put a face on it. And just every time anybody asked me, I was like, oh no, I don't want children, or no, I've decided it's not for me. Because it was harder to go into full detail. And then also I was worried about how the other person was going to feel, because, and somebody goes, oh, when's your turn, when you're having children? And then you kind of go, well, actually, there's a strong possibility that I can't have children. And then, then you get that face, and people feel absolutely devastated that they've even said anything. So I used to get a little bit worried about that as well. Whereas I think now it's a little bit different. Obviously, I do actually have a child now. So when I was 30, just the year after I got married, me and my husband decided, well, let's see what we can do here. Let's go to the doctor. So we went to the doctor. I was extremely lucky. In the end, I actually fell pregnant on my first round of Clomid. So you get given these tablets, which is called Clomid or Clomiform, something like that. Clomid, we call it, and also metformin. Metformin is, anybody that speaks to me, I will tell you, it's a really harsh drug. But basically, what that does is that helps to steady your insulin. So with polycystic ovaries, it's you have issues with your insulin levels. So the metformin is actually what they give people for diabetes, and that just helps to regulate things within your body. And then you take your Clomid, which you take sort of 5 days in a row. You take that, and then it'll be time for you to do what you need to do. And so we did that, and I was really, really lucky to fall pregnant in with the first round. And we've got a lovely little boy now. He's 8 years old, and yes, we're really, really lucky. But what I want to do is, over these videos, is I want to also post about the other side effects. So everyone always knows that, it's kind of, the first one everyone always says to me is infertility. So yes, that's one we've just covered. But there's so many other things within polycystic ovaries that people don't tend to talk about a lot. So what I'm going to do is I want to try and keep these videos kind of little short and snappy. So there's one that's just giving you a little bit about me and one of the side effects of polycystic ovaries. And then what I'm going to do is, over the next few days, I'm going to do some more videos. I'm going to talk about some of the other side effects and the things that I've gone through over the years and learnt to cope with. So I'm hoping that you like the videos, and I'm hoping you'll subscribe to my page, and we'll just go along this journey together. And if I can help just one lady or one couple, then I've done my job. Thank you. Take care. Bye.